Welcome to Backwater Casting. I'm your host, Rick Greene. Today we're fishing out of Woodstock, New Brunswick on the Meduxnekeag and the St. John River with our guest, Paul Michaud. And just a reminder that with the fall season, there are some changes in the fishing regulations, so have a look before you go and make sure you're legal where you're fishing. Yeah, just a reminder that the province is zoned now for smallmouth bass, and different areas are closed at different times. And this area is still open to fishing for another couple of weeks. So anyway, we're going to enjoy some cold weather fishing today. Yes, he is.
Oh, yes. And you stopped while you were talking to me.
That's exactly what happened, and that's where I was going next. In this cold water, slower is better. Because when I was moving it, I wasn't getting anything, and then while we were chatting, I just stopped it and one come up and ate it. So, right under the bridge in the town of Woodstock, that's my third cast this morning, and he's not a monster, but he's definitely on the chunky side. A little jackall rearranged jerkbait. So that goes down about 3 feet and then just sits there. So, we'll try slow, slow, slow. Third cast, that works for me.
No, not bad at all. They're certainly feeding up this time of the year.
They should be, yes.
How cold does the water get, Rick, before they shut off?
I actually don't know that, because typically what happens with me is it's not the air temperature or the water temperature that drives me off the water in the fall. It's the wind.
Yeah.
I mean, we get crazy, crazy winds. So I fished the river right up until late October, and the water was down in the low 50s and was still catching them.
Yeah.
But when they actually go to their wintering grounds, I don't know. There's another one. This one's better. Gotta go to a jerkbait, Paul. Yes, sir. That's a nice fish. So seeing as this is not an inexpensive bait, I think we'll net this one. He looks over 3 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice smallmouth right there.
Oh, that's a nice fish.
Yes.
Oh, you would take that any day.
I would. Have to get a picture. Healthy, very healthy.
Rick, how big do you think that one is?
I'm going to say, I don't know, 3 and change. 3 something.
3.5 anyway.
Yeah, 3 something. That's a first-rate tournament fish down here. It's what we were just talking about a minute ago. We've only been fishing 5 minutes. So that's a jackall re-ranged jerkbait. Those hooks are absolutely needle sharp. And what I'm doing is the water's really chilly this morning. We're down 55, high 55 degree mark, 55 point something. I'm just jerking that down and just letting it sit there. And that's 2 fish on it.
So Paul's putting on a jerkbait.
Yes, don't blame him one bit. So both those fish came on the pause.
Here we go again.
I can probably get them myself.
You think?
I'm pretty
I don't
sure.
mind.
Yes, I'm always a little more careful with mono. He's bigger than I thought too.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, good one.
Another nice fish.
Yeah. A good one. Yeah. They're chunky too, feeding up good. But again, that was a slow presentation. That was just sitting there, and all of a sudden my line just shot right out, and I wasn't doing anything with that bait at all. There we go.
It's a good one.
We are 1 fish shy of a tournament limit.
It's a nice fish.
It's like a smallmouth. Mean and nasty and full of it. Oh, that's a muskie. You got a muskie.
A big one too.
Oh, we got to get him head first.
Yeah.
I don't want. It's not that I want to get the muskie in the boat as much as I don't want you to lose your jerkbait.
I know.
Okay, that's enough. Let's bring him in. Where's my big net when I need it?
He keeps taking long.
I'm going to take him right up this time. There we go. Watch, give yourself a little bit of line so you don't break your rod. Oh, he's off too. So that is almost the same jerkbait I'm throwing. Same brand, just almost the same. Nice with the sun on them too. 6 pounds, 7 pounds. Anyway, we're going to put him back. He's been out long enough.
That was a surprise.
That was a surprise, Paul. Yeah.
When he
Sorry
took
I
it-
handled your fish on you, but I guess it was to get them back in the water as quickly as possible. We just dealt with
And
them.
it was very much appreciated. It sort of felt like a large bass, obviously, and then all of a sudden he started taking line. I knew there was something more than just a bass. So
Well,
we
you
were
said
lucky to
big-
get our lure back.
You said big fish, you just don't know how right you were.
Think my hooks are okay, or should I change the bait?
I would, at the very minimum, you're gonna have to bend them back. Now look at your hooks. I mean, look, they're all bent right out, straightened out.
Oh my.
So, yeah, that one.
Well, I'm just trying a different rod, maybe with a tube this time. I'm just trying a different bait to see what they're taking today. Now he's having good luck on a drop shot. I'm not going with the drop shot. I'm going with a tube.
Now Paul's muskie definitely would have been a threat to a bass this size. There's a baby. He's a 4-pounder in the making.
Well, in the past I've had a problem with losing hooks, hooking on the bottom too much with the typical one. So I try and rig this tube weedless. In other words, it's the weight is separate, as you can see, and it's hooked through the tube here so that when they bite it, the hook will be exposed. But at the same time, it will go through the rocks and stuff without getting hung up.
He just turned. He just turned. Small. He still feels small, but well, hard to say. He doesn't feel like he's got shoulders, but he's bigger than the last one. Well, basically what I've done here is kind of what I would do in a tournament. We were both fishing a jerkbait, and I mean we will do that in a tournament, but typically we fish opposite, and I'm still fishing that very slow, but I'm just fishing a drop shot. 2 pounds at least. So what I'm not seeing is any more fish coming up with them. So they're still not really bunched up big time. I like it when you look down and you see 3 or 4 more underneath.
Come at the same time.
Yeah. And up here.
That's not a bad fish though.
Nope. Yeah, chunky, nice fat, 2 pounds at least. So what we're gonna do is, I actually have a second drop shot rod rigged up here, Paul.
I've got a drop shot rigged up at
Oh,
home.
do you?
Yeah.
Because they seem to be responding to this. Yeah, nice. We're on our way to a tournament limit. I don't know
Yes,
what that
sir.
guy, he's a high 2, I would say. We were talking earlier, we were fishing high in the water column, very slow. Now I'm fishing down, I'm a foot off the bottom, more or less. And I'm just bouncing that sinker along in the rocks, and it's a very, very hard bottom here. And just very slowly working along, moving with the current. And those smallmouth are picking it up. Another 2. Outside of the point, yep.
There's usually more than one, right, Rick?
Yeah, smallies tend to be schoolies, especially this
Yeah.
time of year.
But usually they do school up. So when you find one, you found
More.
possibly more.
Like it just almost feeling tensing up. He was gonna thrash. Very, very careful of my fingers. There.
Especially when your fingers are cold.
Yeah.
They're not quite as quick.
Welcome back to Backwater Casting. In this part of the show, we're leaving the Meduxnekeag and headed out into the main St. John River. Paul Michaud's fairly new to drop shot fishing, so this is a perfect opportunity to try out a new technique. So I'll keep the boat out here, Paul, so we can both throw in there.
Yep.
It should be right where the
This
bear...
is a nice day, you know, right here, right now.
So far, so good, yeah. Boys, he didn't look super big when he come up, but he doesn't want to come back up.
Ah,
He got a little bit of that cold air on his back, and he says, not for me, boys. It's warmer down here. There he is. Oh, he's bigger than I thought.
you want the net?
Yeah,
Want
I
me to net
better.
it?
Yeah, he's bigger than I thought. I'll just bring him right to you back there, Paul.
Yep.
Oh. Thank you, sir. Yeah, there's a fish that's feeding up for winter. He says, chowing down, brother. Chowing down. Yeah, big broad-bodied fish. Nice, nice, nice. That was on a drop shot Senko.
Rick, you seem to be having a good success with your drop shot. How exactly are you fishing it?
Yeah, in this situation, what I'm doing, Paul, is I'm throwing it in there as far as I can, and I'm tightening the line up, and it's the bit of slope that there is, it's just working its way nice and easy down that slope, but it keeps the bait up off the bottom. That it would probably not the full foot, but it's keeping it right up off the bottom. So that's a 1/2 ounce on that one, Paul.
Perfect, thanks, Rick. On a nice reel too. Oh, it's a nice one.
You got a good one, Paul?
Yeah.
I wouldn't take you to any little fish spots. That's just not like me.
Not as big as yours, Rick.
Oh, that's a beauty fish. No,
That's a nice
that's
fish,
still
yeah.
a good fish. What's your rod tip?
Yeah, I'm trying to get some line out here.
I'm going to pull us out of here a bit.
Okay. Felt like a bite.
That's how you want them hooked in a tournament, man.
Yep.
Not coming off.
Right through the top. They're not hitting it like they do in the spring when they just attack it. It's just a solid tug.
Yes, sir. It's like that one the other day that just was going across the top for 15 feet. Right in the roof of the mouth where it should be.
What color are you using, Rick?
Green pumpkin. Green pumpkin with a little black flake in it. It's just a little #2 Gamakatsu hook.
Being a left-handed like this, it's hard to tell.
I know it's the wrong hand for you, know. Yeah, watch the rod tip.
Yeah, the last thing I want to do is break your rod. Nice little smallie.
I saw him come up.
I'm getting tired of this, Rick.
There's a picture taking fish. Oh, I saw him when he come up. That's a nice fish.
Oh, it's a big fish.
With a bend in that rod. I mean, there's a nice medium rod anyway for doing this, but I mean, he just got that bent. Try to get him to come back. There he is. Good one. Boys, yeah, that's a good one.
It's a heavy fish.
So far, Paul, we have got 2 really good tournament grade fish. I mean, we got a decent tournament limit.
I'll take a picture. Nice fish, Rick.
Yeah. Solid belly on him too. I actually, when he come up, I figured 4 pounds, but he's not 4 pounds.
Let me get a picture of that.
It feels like a bass. I'm not feeling that it's a big bass. It just, there's a different feel when you've got a real big one on. This guy's just scrappy. You know, he might be, I haven't seen him yet, but he might be 2 pounds or so. He just doesn't have that big, broad-shouldered. There he is down there. No, he's not even, he's 1.5 pounds. They just don't have that big fish feel to them, even though they pull hard.
Yeah, when they're big, they can feel dead.
Yeah.
They don't want you to move, they're not going to move.
No, they have a definite different feeling to them. There's another one. This one feels bigger. Hard to say. He just did a roll up top. Good fish. That's a nice one. Nice fish.
I'm getting the net.
And yeah. 3 tournament grade fish.
That's heavy.
Yeah, he's solid.
There, you're all free.
He's in the 3s. He's got some heft to him. He's got girth. A lot of girth to him. So that was on a Texas smoke Senko. 18 inches.
Yeah, I think it's a netter.
Okay. Get back, get this on the water. Oh yeah, nice healthy fish. There he goes.
Thank you, sir. He sort of hit it dull until he knew the hook was in him, and
then he got very bassy.
And then he got very bassy, yes.
Up. I love this drop shot rod. I had 2 of these and I broke one. I could have cried. So I take really good care of this one. Nice chunky smallmouth, St. John River, Woodstock, New Brunswick. Welcome back to Backwater Casting. Well, in this segment, Paul Michaud and I are heading downriver from Woodstock, and the fall smallmouth fishing is fantastic. Yeah, I'm getting lots of grass, boys. That'll be the bane of the troller's existence. In some areas, the grass seems to die off earlier. So healthy green grass produces oxygen, and it provides place for the bait and stuff, and the oxygen attracts the fish. Once the grass starts to die, dying grass consumes oxygen, so it's not habitable for the fish, so they move out of it. So it's kind of hard to tell here today because we're outside of it. And as we come across here, it looked pretty bad. So I'm saying it's starting to die, so we're just fishing outside of it a little bit where that breaks off. Yep. I had to stop and make sure I wasn't in the grass. A jumper.
You want the net?
No, I got braid on this one. I'm okay. Boys, he got them all too. So what I've done, when we started this morning, nice healthy fish. When we started this morning, I was throwing a jackall re-range, which had a lot of flash to it. And the water seems a little dingier down here. So I went to that's a jackall squad minnow. It's kind of white and got a little flash of chartreuse and stuff on it. And I think those show up better in this little bit of stained water than the ones that are all flash. So far, 2 fish on this jerkbait down here. So it looks like it was a good call.
Well, right now, Rick, I'm using, this is monofilament line, and I prefer that over braid. Of course, that's mainly because I find braid harder to use with a bait caster. Do you find that?
I don't find it, no.
I find that braid, and of course, probably that's just because I'm not used to it, but I find it casts better with mono or fluorocarbon.
Yeah, and you use, in all fairness, you do use a lot more bait casters than I do.
The problem I found with braid on a bait caster was sometimes with the micro eyes,
yes,
where you tie a little bit of leader on,
yeah,
it will catch when you're casting it.
I don't fish the bait casters as much as you do. You're really into it. So when I'm fishing a bait caster with braid, I typically am fishing a reaction bait, something that's really moving, so I don't use a leader. So I don't have that issue, especially with the micro guides, like you say, with that knot catching in those micro guides.
Yeah.
But that'd probably be the main reason. The main difference is because
yeah, I would agree with that.
I tend to throw reaction baits into it.
I'm going to go back to my bait caster with a Cinco.
Feels like a pretty good one, actually.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Coming
get
down.
the net.
Come here. Look how white his belly is.
Look at that.
Yeah,
The hook
he's
fell
popping
right
it
out.
out, yeah. Bright white belly on him.
Oh, 2 pounds.
Yeah, it was more than 2.
You think?
2 something, yeah. More than 2. Oh, there's one.
I got that fish on a Cinco.
Just gonna get out a wee bit and drop that towel and we'll fan cast around here. There's one right there, just like that. Yes. He definitely has the attitude of a big one. There he is.
That's not a bad fish.
No. Nothing wrong with that at all. That was on that drop shot, wacky rig Senko. All right.
It's probably a pound and a half. Not that big.
But he's a bass. And he
But
bit.
it's a bass.
And he bit.
And there goes my Cinco.
Yeah, that's typical. There's one. Twin to Paul's. We got a daily double here, Paul. We both got one.
Both the same size?
Both the same
Well,
size.
It might be a little bigger. That was about a pound maybe. It was a smaller fish on a Cinco, a green pumpkin Cinco.
Green pumpkin seems to be the common thread, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, what do we got there? Oh,
Oh.
not a big one, just slightly bigger. And he had a buddy too. There was two of them. Just drop the talon down. They're strong. Holy smokes. Okay, come on up. Let's go. Here we go. Up. Similar year class. Bodes well for the future. Yeah. They're starting to come. There was another one there.
Net?
No, the other one was bigger. Just throw right across the front of the boat, Paul. He's right out in front of me. They both come up after it at once. Yeah, he's solid. Oh, he's a chunky 2.5 probably. Boys, I gotta watch those hooks. He's got that bad.
Right now I'm going to try this jerkbait. It's red, chartreuse, and silver. It's cloudy over, so it might work. Rick's been having good luck with his, so I'm going to try this one.
There he goes. Anyway, nice chunky guy. That's a typical scenario when you have more than one fish come in. I saw them coming and the one got it and the one underneath him was bigger and he just went down under the boat. Grass on every cast. I'm picking up that floating grass. That's not grass. You little...
No,
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
You will. What can I say? Just
I think your work speaks for itself. Nice fish.
instinct said, throw a spinnerbait for a minute.
It just hit the water.
I know. You know, you landed on their head, and it's either fight or flight.
Yeah.
That's not a bad first cast for a Strike King spinnerbait.
And it's all friggin' weeds out there.
Yeah.
You never even had time for it to sink into the weeds.
No. Sometimes your brain says, do this. And I thought, I gotta throw a spinnerbait for a minute. So I can pick the spinnerbait up and I threw it and hit the water and I set the hook. And it doesn't get any better than that. He's jumping over there. That's too funny. He's on the other side of the boat jumping. There he is. Come here, Bubba. Baby Bubba. There. I'll get down there beside Paul. We have a small daily double.
Well, it's not our first daily double, but it's always nice to have one.
It is that. Yeah. So there's a few fish here, so we're gonna go back up and see if we can catch some more. That's not good. Paul, thank you so much for coming out with us today. Beautiful day here in Woodstock, New Brunswick. A little frosty to start, but boys, we caught fish right under the bridge here in town, and you can't start off any better than that.
No, you can't. And I want to thank you again for inviting me, and I'll come anytime. Learned how to drop shot properly, enjoyed the day thoroughly, good friends, and we caught some nice fish.
Caught a pile of fish today. It was a great
Yes,
day.
we did.
And again, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Glad you came out with us today.
Thank you very much.